Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Gallowgateshots podcast. I'm Kris, as always, joined by Ollie Bell, Ashley Lowe, representatives of the Newcastle United Foundation and the Be a Game Changer campaign. You two okay? Start with you, Ollie.
Yes, very good, thank you.
Yes, good, thank you. Nice to be here. Thanks for having us on.
That's no problem. Thanks for joining me. I want to say, first of all, right now, leading up to Christmas, is probably the most important time in regards to bringing this and the awareness up to speed with everybody, especially across social media. We've seen over the last few, well, not just few days, but we've seen over the last, since lockdown, I would say, the pros and cons of social media. Starting with you, Ash, social media, is that a major concern when it comes to the likes of well, not just mental health, but everything which you do for the foundation?
Yeah, so for those that don't know, the Be a Game Changer campaign is all about encouraging football fans to talk openly about mental health, because there can be a lot of stigmas associated with it and people feel afraid to open up if they're struggling. And we're here to say, look, it's okay. And it's really important that if you are struggling or you think a friend is, to speak up. Now, a lot of the stuff that we do for the campaign is on social media so that we can reach people with the message. So in that respect, I definitely think there's positives with social media, but there can also come a lot of negatives. And I think especially with lockdown, when there's not much to do, it can be very easy to sit and scroll through your phone constantly, to be quite obsessive about checking the news, which tends to be quite negative. Yeah. So there's definitely pros and cons in my opinion. Trying not to spend too much time on social media and recognizing the things that might make you feel a bit down or stressed when you're reading them. Maybe those are the things that you should try and avoid a little bit more, and look to the positive things and the stuff that makes you feel good.
Yeah, staying on the likes of that, Ollie, Newcastle United as a fan base, it's got quite a wide variety of people using the likes of Twitter, Facebook, everything really, and the community which the likes of those outlets and platforms have is fantastic. And obviously, you've taken advantage of that. Obviously, pushing the campaign through the site likes of ourselves, doing podcasts. I know you did one with True Faith last week, and I've noticed that you've signed up with the Newcastle United Supporters Trust as well, who've gone from strength to strength over the last couple of years since the arrival of new chairman and a shuffle up on that board. Is it important for you to get the likes of fan bases involved?
Definitely, because as Ashley said, the point of this campaign is trying to encourage people to talk more about mental health. And me and Ashley can sit in St. James's Park and try and tell as many people who walk past as possible. But in reality, that's not going to target a lot of people. Whereas using platforms like social media and podcasts and YouTube and things like that allow us to reach a brand new audience and a wider audience, and coming on things like this are really, really important for us, because we're speaking to people who might never heard of the Be a Game Changer campaign, and they might be sat there probably struggling quite a little bit, and probably this time of year realizing that the nights are very long and we live in nearly permanent darkness in the northeast, and our moods can significantly be impacted by that. And they don't know where to turn. So that's where we like to come in, or that's the worth that we find in doing things like this, is coming on and speaking to those people and saying there is support out there for you if you need it. There are professional services and they're all open regardless of COVID. So please go and seek some support as soon as possible. So yeah, hugely important for us to do stuff like this.
You mentioned, Ollie, when we done one, it was last year, around about, couldn't have been far off from this time last year, that we done one of these just before the cup game, if I remember right. And you said there was a time when you went to St. James's Park and one of the players had scored and it flashed up on the screen, obviously goal, then followed up, there was a whole big game changer campaign and poster on that. Ash, is that a massive loss for you, is the fact that fans can't go in the ground to see the likes of the campaign around the boards, around the stadium and things like that?
It is, obviously, because as well as all of the branding that we had up on match days, we were giving out little business cards to fans, and we've handed out about 50,000. So in that respect, yes, it's a shame that we can't do that. However, anyone that's watched the matches on the TV will have seen the Be a Game Changer banner that we've had across the seats throughout since the games restarted. Now, obviously, not everyone might get the chance to watch it on the TV, so there is that. But you might have noticed the other week we had the match was themed around the campaign. So across the social media channels, the players were wearing our T-shirts. We put out some fan stories about those who have struggled with their mental health but are now in a really good place. And we're trying to reach people through a variety of different means. So that's why it's so important that we come on podcasts like yourselves, because that's our target audience are the fans, and that's who we want them to get the message to. And obviously we have the foundation channels, and we'll have the club will share the content as well. But obviously in regards to social media, if you're not online at that time, you might miss that message. So we're always trying to look for ways of engaging with the fans through podcasts. We do work with grassroots clubs as well now, and online workshops, and all of our resources are free for businesses and grassroots clubs as well. So there's lots of different ways we're trying to get the message out there, and we're also always open to suggestions.
Yeah, you mentioned the likes of fan stories and things like that, which are available on the website. I looked at those last time that we had you on, and those stories, the hard hitting, of course they are, but I think personally reading somebody else's story, and there's a number of them on the website, the chances that you can relate to those is quite high the more that you have. And even if that one story or that one sentence of the story encourages that one person to reach out and speak up about the struggles which they're going through, Ollie, it's great, isn't it?
Hugely, yeah. I think especially with traditionally men not being comfortable enough to talk about their mental health to loved ones, or not necessarily always being comfortable, but being completely unaware that they may be suffering from poor mental health, and that they need to go out and seek some support. And we find that these stories, and whether they are written on the website or they're picked up by any kind of print media, or whether or not we tell the stories through some of the videos that we've broadcasted over the last year, those stories tell the journey of people like me and you, people who are not different to anybody walking around the street. They don't live this absolutely wonderful, bizarre life where they encounter all of these magical, wonderful things that may impact their mental health. They just live a normal day-to-day life like you and I. And reading stories or watching videos of people telling their stories, as you say, resonates with people, and they start to go, hang on a minute, I do these things, or I've felt like that before. Maybe I need to address these issues, and maybe I'm not living as happy a life as what I would like to be doing. And if that is the case, then hopefully people can reach out for some support and try and find a little bit of help before mental health deteriorates and may become a mental illness.
Yeah, I know on the last time we spoke, you were running the thing. Was it a Monday night or a Wednesday night? Was it Monday night?
I think
where it was people who went to St James's Park for like a drop-in session sort of thing, just to chat with each other there, and just talk about life and things like that.
Yeah.
Do you feel as if a lot of that is obviously because of the current situation? You can't have people turn up to the likes of St James's Park and through lockdown and COVID-19. Do you feel as if the likes of Facebook, which opens that platform up for the likes of comments and meeting new people, do you think that's only a benefit to yourselves?
Definitely, yeah. I don't think it's a benefit to us. I think it's a benefit to the fans, to the people who need it. I think you're right. That was previously a option for people to go to St James's Park and meet people who they'd never met before and talk about some of the issues that are going on in their life. Whereas now we've got social media that people can do the same on. And if people are listening and watching this and they want to learn a little bit more, just search in Facebook for NUFB, a game changer. And on there we have 2,500 members. It's very much run by the members. Ashley and I don't really have much to do with that, because it's community led. It's people putting or posting things that they want to talk about, and a lot of that orientates around mental health and struggling with mental illnesses and things. And within there's also an option to reach out to mentors, which is a service that Facebook run themselves, and people can basically volunteer, put their hands up and say, I've struggled with this thing before and I'm more than happy to speak to somebody else who might be struggling. And they're really, really powerful. That opens up the doors and allows people to have conversations without even leaving the room, which works really, really well for quite a lot of people.
Yeah, Ashley, you mentioned the club earlier on. Obviously, the fact that the players are wearing the football shirt, the big game changer T-shirts, and help driving the campaign there. Obviously, we spoke about this. Me and Ollie spoke about this quite a lot on the previous podcast, which we did. But that connection to the likes of the club and the club's crest and the city in general is huge up here in the northeast. So having the club on board with something as powerful as this it's great to see, and obviously from your point of view, it's something which can't really be replaced.
Yes, yeah, of course. So before we launched the campaign, we did spend about a year kind of researching what was out there on a national level and a local level in regards to mental health campaigns. And then we went and spoke to the fans, and we know we've got a very unique opportunity to use the power of football and the power of Newcastle United's badge to reach people, and particularly men, who will ignore other mental health campaigns. If it's something from the NHS, they might see a poster and they won't even read it because they can't relate to it. They don't think that poster is for me, that's speaking to me. But you put football with it, and a fan, whether they are a Newcastle United fan or just a fan of anyone really, we found that just the association with football will get people going, oh, what's that? And that must be for me, that's speaking to me. And that's where you can really sort of get to that's how you can speak to the people and get them engaging in the campaign. And we do know that it has been working from the feedback that we've had. So yeah, it's invaluable, and it helps us to reach a wider audience having that platform.
Yeah, you mentioned the likes of NHS, and there's God knows how many organisations and platforms out there which obviously promote a similar sort of thing about speaking about mental health. And obviously NHS, you immediately associate that with hospital, and that's what you immediately associate with. And I know there's a lot of work-based things. I'm a member of one of them at my employment, but once again, that's bringing work into it, which a lot of people will struggle to open up to. That of Newcastle United and the foundation, that opens a brand new door for somebody to go there and speak about a connection to the likes of the club and to fellow fans who have something in common with. And like I said, it's invaluable, and it's great to see. That there's so many out there. That there's like I said, there's hundreds and hundreds, and obviously a lot of them are mentioned on the likes of the website. But I think the big game changer campaign is probably personally the one now if I would probably go to if I was obviously struggling, things like that, which I have done in the past, and I don't mind opening up about things like that. I've done on social media, and I feel as if someone like myself who does have quite a high following on the likes of social media, even if one video helps one person, that it's just I can't even think of the word to describe it. It's it's a difficult one to describe, because if one person goes and seeks help, it feels like you've helped that person, and it's one person, but it's one person who have took that leap of faith. And I keep on explaining it's a leap of faith, and it seems like a huge hurdle to do that first step and go and speak to somebody. And personally, I found it a lot easier to speak to people outside of my family, outside of my friendship brackets and things like that, and speaking to strangers, and not just professionals, but like I said, someone outside of my immediate circle. I felt as if speaking to the likes of family and friends, it only got us upset more, speaking about it, and I could get sentences out at one point. But obviously, a campaign like yourselves, which would open the door to someone who was struggling like myself back then, it's great. It's absolutely fantastic, and I can't advise anyone more than enough that is struggling to go and do the same things what I've done, same things what many of the lads have done, many of the women have done. It's invaluable, like you said, Ashley. And so
with that, Kris, sorry,
that's fine.
I don't mean to turn the tables and ask you a question, but that's what I'm going to do anyway. Just, I suppose, without naming names, do you have examples? Who is it who you turn to, or were there organisations that you turn to?
So
advice could we give people
at the start? I mentioned this on the last one. At the start, I knew something wasn't right with myself. I wasn't enjoying spending time with friends. I wasn't enjoying spending time with my family, and most importantly, with my kids. I was sat there and I was more concerned about what was happening on the likes of social media. So my screen time must have been ridiculous, through the roof. The kids are playing in front of us, and I wasn't paying them any attention. I just wasn't enjoying spending time with them, and I became distant from friends, from family, where normally I would be life and soul, like talking to people left, right, and centre, and the joker, as people like to say. But I got to the point where it started with an argument. With my wife, I started with an argument, and from then I broke down. I felt as if it had hit the roof, and I had nowhere else to go. And first of all, I rang. It was Mind. So Mind had a hotline which I rang. Then on the back of that, it was just a snowball effect. So then I went and saw a GP. Then just took it from there. But personally, I signed up for things through the work as well. I didn't mind going through my work option. Speaking to people on the likes of social media, I know social media, like I said at the start, it was a concern for me because I was spending too much time on there. But I think if you limit your time and speak to the correct people and surround yourself by positivity, it's only a benefit. Social media, if you get rid of the likes of the negativity and things like that, then it's a great place to be. It really is. There's so many people, which we saw the idea without getting into. There's so many people out there, or strangers, who are willing to offer their advice and their help. So yeah, those are the platforms I went down.
No, thank you. I appreciate you saying that, and it's very brave of you to say. And to be honest, I picked up on a few things that you described, which I think would probably be quite important to summarise. Which, first of all, those warning signs that you recognised in yourself, which are removing yourself from social situations, and you're brave enough to say that you didn't enjoy the company of your own children, which is a fantastic insight, because there'll be people sat there going, I don't enjoy the company of my own children, but I don't want to say that because I'll feel really guilty if I say it out loud. But people hearing you say that then will resonate with them. So if they recognise those symptoms, if they recognise those warning signs, great examples of reaching out to places like Mind, and there are networks online. Ashley and I work alongside a group called the North Cumbria Suicide Prevention Network, which is a huge title. But if you were basically to Google Stop Suicide and then NENC for North Cumbria, that'll take you to their website. And then from there, you can filter out all of the professional organisations that are on your doorstep. And I think you're living proof of somebody who's reached out and found that support and that help, and as a result are now living a happier life. So it is possible. It's possible to make that change. So sorry for twisting the
It's fine. I don't mind.
I think it's so important to point out that there are so many options when you do want to, if you are able to speak up. So yeah, not everyone's going to feel comfortable speaking to the wife or speaking to the parents or someone that they know, a friend, but there are those helplines. There's the Samaritans, there's Calm, we've got a male only helpline, there's one specifically for older adults as well called the Silver Line, and we've got all of these on our website as well. So that first step, even just acknowledging that you don't feel like yourself, that's the first step. And once you feel that way, then you can think, right, what's next? Who do I feel comfortable speaking to? Even if you start just Googling the, services, things like that, or going to our Facebook page, etc., then that's the first step, and that can be enough to start release that burden a little bit. But it is just so important to speak out and speak to someone that you trust, whether that's a professional service or someone that definitely.
Yeah, you mentioned that first step, and like I said earlier, that first step is crucial, and that's, I promise anybody who's watching or listening to this, once you do take that first step, and it seems like a huge one, but once you do take it, the next few are so simple. They're so simple because you've done the hardest thing. You really have by admitting that you're not feeling how you used to feel, or you're not enjoying the better things in life. And that's one of the telltale signs that for me, where I was struggling and reaching out, it was really hard to do. I'm not going to lie, it was really, really hard to do. But doing so, it put me on a such better path. It really did. And it's not just that; it's getting out of the house more. I know we're during a difficult situation, which we'll get on to. Obviously, since lockdown, when did this even start? March, was it? I can't even remember. Mm-hmm. It seems that long ago. People being stuck in the house at the start of that, it must have been very hard for people, spending a lot more time with the loved ones. And personally, I wasn't really enjoying spending that much time with my loved ones. Of course, you need that split in life where you see your family, you see your friends, and you get out. You get outside the house. And unfortunately, during the start of the year, we weren't able to do that. What advice do you have for people who are in that situation right now, where they work from home, they're sat in the kitchen at the office desk, then comes the clocking out, and they're still in the house? Do you have any sort of tips or advice for anybody?
Yep. Shall I go first, Ash? So
yeah, mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, because I know that you've got a little.
He's prepared. He's prepared, hasn't he?
Yes, not my first rodeo. Yeah, no. I, as somebody who's been in that situation, living and working in the same place, and trying to create the separation between the work day and the night time, but then the work week and the weekend is really, really difficult. And all of a sudden they blend, they become the same. So I think having literal separation between the spaces of which you're working in can quite help. Now, I'm very aware that not everybody is privileged enough to have an office space or a different room that they can go in. But if you have a kitchen table that you are working from, put a blanket or something around it, or a bed sheet or something, so that you're creating a separate space away from where you're working and where you're living. And then making sure that at the end of your workday, you close your laptop and you get away from technology. And I think for me, and we've touched on it a few times tonight, social media and technology and screen time and stuff like that, yes, it's got its benefits, but really, really limit yourself to it. I think there's a balance. Everything in life is a balance, and social media is part of that. It's making sure that you know when to turn off, and you know when to take yourself away from the media. And I've fallen victim of it myself numerous times throughout the past months. And it's things like coming into the lounge on a morning and putting the TV on and instantly watching the news. And surprise, surprise, all they're talking about is COVID. So let's for a start try and remove those things. I think another thing for me is doing the things that make you happy, trying to identify the things in life that make you happy. Now, I think the best way to start is literally by listing everything in your life which you feel that gives you happiness. Something as big as your loved ones and spending time with your family, to something as small as making a really nice breakfast, and try and practice the things that are really easy to do. So for me, it's things like going for a walk, it's listening to podcasts, it's learning more stuff about things that I've never really crept into. I've just bought the Stephen Hawking's Theory of Everything book. I've got absolutely no idea what any of it means, but I feel like I'm learning stuff as I'm reading the pages. So for me, that's something that gives me happiness. So try and practice those things. I think another one would be, I think everybody really needs to make sure that they look after all aspects of their health. The NHS is still open regardless of COVID. So if you feel like there are some physical things that are going wrong in your body, please seek out and seek some support straight away. So I, for example, are going for an eye test tonight because I realised that my vision started going a little bit funny. I'm probably getting to that age where I need to sort something out with my eyesight. So I'm doing that this afternoon. And that's an example that regardless of COVID, we're still taking care of our physical health. And the final one for me would be reiterate and reach out for support as much as possible. You would be forgiven for feeling like life isn't quite as what it used to be, and that you might need some extra support. We've mentioned it so many times today. There is support out there, so reach out as soon as possible. But for me, they're my top tips, and I don't know if Ashley's got any more to add.
Yeah, I think mine kind of go back to what you were saying, Kris, about it kind of being quite difficult spending so much time with your loved ones. So for me, I've definitely found that my stress and irritation levels have been kind of much higher than usual. So I'm making sure that I get out the house at least once a day, especially now, that we can. And I do have a baby, so it is difficult, but I make sure that I go out with the pram, regardless of the weather. So I've got full on waterproof kit now. So I don't care if it's raining, I will go out and I just feel so much better and like I've got more energy. Or I'll take work calls with my headphones in on a walk as well. So if you are someone that is looking after children, but you're also working from home and you've not got time to get out for a walk by yourself, just multitask. And I just think it's so important to get outside in nature, no matter what the weather is. And I think that really does boost your mood massively. Little things like having a bath, or even like an extra long shower where you've got that bit of time just to put some music on and just feel better, and looking at ways that you can de-stress, whatever that might be for you. Like I say, walking, reading a book, cooking, having a quiet cup of tea. We have actually just released a football mindfulness track, which sounds probably a little bit bizarre. So for anyone that doesn't know, mindfulness is all about being in the here and now. So it's really easy, especially at the moment, to get carried away in your thoughts, whether that's stressing about your job, your family, or just overthinking about the whole COVID situation. So mindfulness is, like I say, about being in the here and now. So you would sit, you would focus on your breathing and listen to your surroundings. Well, we've created like a football one. So we recorded loads of sounds at St. James's Park, actually previous to COVID. And it's like a 7-minute track that we've put on the Foundation's YouTube channel. And it's just about stopping people's negative thoughts or a stressful situation and giving them 7 minutes to basically immerse themselves in Newcastle United and being at the game. So we advise you put your headphones in, close your eyes if it's safe to do so, and that can really help as well to kind of bring back happy memories. So that's something kind of unique that we've released recently for the campaign. So whatever your form of mindfulness might be, give that a try. You've got nothing to lose, even though it does probably sound a little bit odd. And yeah, and just like Ollie said, thinking about things that maybe used to make you happy, can you get back into those things? Because we've got a little bit more flexibility now that we're allowed out and about. So yeah, thinking this time last year, what did I used to do? Was it that I used to go out walking in the woods? Did I used to go surfing? And anything that used to make you happy, and try and incorporate a little bit more of that into your life, especially with Christmas coming up, because it potentially is going to be that little bit more challenging for people as well.
Yeah, you mentioned getting out and about then. That's something which I benefited from massively. Set me alarm half an hour earlier, especially when I was working from home. Just setting that alarm half an hour earlier, getting out the house just half an hour before you start your shift. I'll promise anybody who's working from home doing that, that opens up the day so much more, and you enjoy the day and you enjoy being at work so much more by leaving the house before you start work. It's great. And even after work, as soon as you sign out, get out the house for half an hour, then come back, then start the likes of your personal life, your family life once again, as if a new day has started. It's great. I can't recommend that enough for people.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, we'll wrap this one up. We've got a few minutes. We've got 5 minutes. So first of all, where can you find yourselves?
Yes,
not personally.
Our coordinates.
Yes, Ollie, do you want to answer?
Yeah. So we are on Facebook. So if you search for NUF Be a Game Changer, that will take you to our Be a Game Changer Facebook page.
You'll see the little logo in the background, because I think a couple of people have been like, oh, how do I find it? But you'll see the black and white.
That's how you spell Be a Game Changer. I'm aware that my accent might make it difficult for people to understand. We have a web page and a website. So again, if you search for Newcastle United Foundation or NUF and then Be a Game Changer, that'll take you to the Be a Game Changer part of the foundation's webpage. And that in there has all the things we've been talking about, top tips. It's got stories from other fans. It has links to professional services. It's got advice on how you can support some of your loved ones who you feel might be suffering. And following the Facebook, the foundation on Twitter as well. So NUF Twitter, NU Foundation on Twitter. That'll take you to all of the things that the foundation do. It's not just Ashley and I who work for the foundation. There's about 150 of us working from being in schools all the way through trying to get people closer to the job market, all the way through to walking football and the older adults. So we're all over social media and media, and when we're back to normal, we'll be back at St. James's Park as well. So if people would like to come and visit us, then I'm sure they will be able to find us there, hopefully at some point in the future.
Yeah, we're also running like health workshops around like sleep and stress and mental health as well. So those have been quite successful. So if you, like I say, follow us on social media, you'll be able to get access to those workshops, which are currently online, but hope to be back face to face sooner rather than later. So
perfect. Well, what I'll do on the back of this, I'll put all those links in the likes of the description underneath the video, so it'll be as simple as clicking a button to get you directly to those sites. I've got one question for you, Ollie, before we go. Did you ever get that Newcastle United badge tattoo?
Oh, no, not yet. It's on my to-do list. I forgot about that. Where shall I get it? It was the calf, I think, wasn't it? The calf.
There was somewhere in your leg. I mean, it has to go on your leg at some point.
COVID, can't do it. COVID.
The tattoo studios are back open now.
Well, yeah, I've got a good friend who is a tattooist, mate, so I'll get that arranged for you, mate.
Ollie has left the conversation.
Right, thanks very much for joining me. Hopefully this will help a lot of people, even if it just helps one. I think we've done a good job on the back of this one. So, yeah, once again, thanks very much, and
Thank you very much.
good luck for the future.
Cheers, thank you.
Very much.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.